Welcome to Knafs at Night, I'm Austin.
I'm Ben.
And today we are talking about the best knife stories from the internet that we found yesterday.
And you'll never believe what these knife handle scales are made of. 7 out of 7 doctors recommend them. Let's go! Before we get into the knife stories, I want to tell you about our newsletter. Every single week we give away a knife. You can subscribe to it, knafs.com/newsletter, and you are entered to win a knife every single week. This week's winner, I have no idea who it is because we're filming this in the past and that will happen in the future. Right. So congratulations to this person. Maybe their name's on screen, maybe it's not, but somebody won the knife this week.
Yeah.
On to the stories, Austin.
Let's talk about some stories. So we scoured the internet, aka Facebook group and Reddit.
Yes.
As far as I'm aware. And we compiled the unequivocal best list of knife stories out there.
Well, I think there's an interesting thing. If you're a knife person, typically you have either scars on your hand or you got some weird story about knives in your daily life. Yeah. And that's what we were looking for. So we're going to read the stories to you, almost like a bedtime story. Austin, take it away with the first one.
Let's jump in. This one looks like it's from Facebook.
Yes.
Yes, this is Tom Marion, and his story goes, I was in a basement of a 100-year-old theater. The music started playing, so my first groomsman tried the hobbit-sized door at the orchestra pit. He found it locked. So the second groomsman tried. He found it locked. It continued this way across 4 groomsmen until I tried and realized that this 100-plus-year-old door was, in fact, locked. I went to the storage director to tell, the stage director, to tell her the door was locked and I was officially late to getting to my own wedding. She looks at me and says, it cannot be locked, there is no key. She comes to the door and tries it, and I see a smile get washed away from her face with fear, as there is no other way for the show to go on without this door opening. The look in her eyes made it clear that there was no plan B for occasions when the ghosts of plays past made their presence known. Fortunately, Larry had chosen to carry his ZT-0300 that day, and with some persuasion, in quotes, we all learned that it made a workable skeleton key when inserted between the door and the jamb. I've been happily married 10 years now, in small part due to a knife.
It's amazing. He also sent us a picture on this one. And it's this old theater. They're standing on the stage. I'm sure we've put it on screen by this point. And that was their wedding. Knife saves the wedding.
Yeah, skeleton key.
The skeleton key.
The skeleton key, 0300.
The next one comes from Mass Delirium on Reddit. He says, I can't think of anything super interesting I did with 50 plus knives, but my fiance, girlfriend at the time, had to use the tiny Victorinox Classic XD I gave her to shave 100 candles while prepping for her brother's wedding. Why is it always the weddings?
Wow.
They didn't fit the little stands they were supposed to go in. I was devastated she didn't call me back from my own chores to use my brand new pair of 3 on them. Can you imagine whittling down 100 candles? Like, that's such a wedding thing to do.
Victorinox SD, those are teeny.
Yes. Also from Mass Delirium. In college, I lent a Swiss Army knife to a friend because she said she needed it for camping. When she brought it back, it turned out she just needed it to cut up tabs of LSD.
Oh, okay.
We don't do a lot of drug references on this show, but...
Not the most, but that is your one for this episode.
That is an interesting one. I don't know what it is about, like, weddings.
Yeah.
There's some sort of chaos where it's like, if you have a multi-tool or a knife at a wedding...
Yeah.
It's like you're cutting a ribbon or like the door is locked or the candles are broken. Like something is going to happen in wedding prep that you're just going to need that.
There's no limit on the tools you might need at a wedding.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Let's talk about some Knafs stuff really quick.
What do we got,
before
Austin?
we keep going. This is the last day of our Independence Day promo. So we are doing a deal where if you buy one of the current Lulu models, so that could be the large or the OG Lulu, then you will get this free pennant flag. All of this stuff, really cool, made in the USA. This is out of New York, if I'm remembering correctly, made in Buffalo by oxfordpennant.com. So super cool pennant flag, and you get one free with any purchase of a Lulu knife.
Yeah, so kind of leaning into that American made. This one's made in Ohio by LT Wright Knives. This one is made in Michigan by White River Knife and Tool. So kind of cool. So check those out, and happy Independence Day.
Independence Day.
I like living in America for a couple of reasons.
Okay.
Reason number one, freedom.
Are you proud to be an American?
I'm proud to be. At least I know I'm free.
Okay.
We were singing that before the show starts. But I actually love our knife laws here. And in Utah in particular, we have a lot of really good knife laws.
Yeah.
That you can carry just about anything. And I think that's cool.
Heck yeah.
We could have a long conversation about America.
We sure could.
We'll spare that today.
We may have done that already also. All right, next up, story-wise here, we're jumping back in. This is from Alex Harline. I think he's also a Facebooker here.
Yep.
He says, not my knife, but I was running a mountain man camp for Buffalo Trail Scout Ranch in Texas. At the beginning of the week, we would go over the knives the scouts had to see if we thought they would work well for the planned tasks of the camp. First week of camp, someone brings a Bear Grylls survival knife. He's doing some pretty basic stuff, carving traps, cleaning a deer hide, that kind of stuff. While carving an anchor for a trap, the handle broke off. Later that summer, 3 more of these knives showed up. Each one of the handles broke off during the same task. Blew my mind.
This is an interesting one. So if you have been in knives long enough, we all need to tip our hats to Gerber and Bear Grylls.
Yeah.
There was an interesting thing happening when these knives came out. So Bear Grylls comes out with Man vs. Wild on TV. Mm-hmm. Gerber comes in with this amazing line of Bear Grylls stuff. Amazing in that there was a whole bunch of it and it came out really quickly.
Right.
And then that was the same period when knife YouTube was just taking off, 2012, 2013.
Oh, okay.
And so you had this synthesis of all these things happening. But I have a theory that Gerber moved too fast on those.
Yeah.
And the quality was kind of shoddy. So in fact, Gerber had to release they did a recall on the Bear Grylls Perong.
Okay.
So hearing that, because I remember that, like, oh dang, Gerber is
Pretty
recalling
impressive.
all of this. So hearing that, and I don't think that exact model was recalled.
Yeah.
But it was in that period where it was fast, furious, and I suspect they didn't dot all their I's and cross their T's.
Interesting.
Which is not how that saying goes.
We're with it today.
It's a weird one.
We're with it today, folks. Next up.
All right, we're going back to college again. This is from Nick McCash. Shortly after college, I was working for a local
You and me both, brother.
arboretum on their conservation crew. We basically walked around the woods removing invasive plants. I was making a pitiful amount of money and had saved up to buy a used Spyderco Salt 1 on eBay. I modified the tip to be pointy like the old D3 was. I carried it daily at work, and one day while working near the floodplain of the Chagrin River, I lost it. Great name for the river.
Great name.
I searched with the other 2 crew members, but it was gone. I was devastated. Yet I had other knives, but this one was my work knife, my Spidey. I couldn't just run out and buy another. I shared my eulogy on the Spyderco forum. Within a day, I had a PM from a woman at Spyderco. Sal had read my story, Sal is the owner of Spyderco, and wanted her to send me a replacement. I was floored. I graciously accepted and asked for yellow, just to be safe. It arrived and became my new work knife. Fast forward 1 year, I'm with the crew back in the floodplain, and my crew lead is a couple steps ahead of me. He bends down, picks up something, and turns it around with my beloved Salt 1. It was dirty, but being a Salt was otherwise perfectly fine. This is them, their pictures. The original is more or less retired to my collection. The yellow one was carried yesterday. Sal Glesser is a class act.
Wow.
Agreed.
That's really cool.
That's really fun.
I've had similar experiences where you lose something for months or years at a time. You keep revisiting that spot and you eventually find it. That's a really cool payoff.
I feel like I keep revisiting the spots and I'm like, no, it's gone.
It's gone forever.
Have you ever lost a knife?
I don't think so. I'm pretty good.
I'm pretty good too, and I'll knock on wood. I've lost one knife.
Okay.
It was a Benchmade bug out in that tan, the original OD tan combination.
Yeah.
I was riding a motorcycle in the West Desert, and I was just carrying it from work. It wasn't even mine, and it disappeared. It's somewhere in the West Desert. Dude, I hope somebody found it.
I hate to say it, but now that you said Benchmade bug out, the one knife that I have lost is a Benchmade bug out. And I hope it's just temporarily misplaced, but I have like an OG blue bug out that I have not been able to find for probably a year now. So
do you think it's gone?
I don't know, because I don't really carry it. Like I work here.
I have another one.
Yeah.
My dagger from my friend Darren Royce.
Okay.
Custom dagger. I don't know where it is. Dang. It's not in my drawer.
Dang it.
and I can't find it at home anywhere, but it might be there.
We'll hold out belief, I think.
Or I loaned it out to somebody for a video.
Return it, guys.
Return
Come
it.
on.
The other thing I loaned out was one of those TPT slides from Big Eye.
Yeah,
and,
I love those things.
And from Taylor Martin.
Mm-hmm.
It's gone.
Oh, no.
I loaned it to somebody. I don't remember who it was.
It was not me.
And it's gone. It might have been my friend Josh, but I don't remember.
Josh.
It's gone.
That's okay.
Such is life.
Such is life, but always a bummer.
Yep.
Cool.
Moon Crew moment, Austin. What do we got?
Let's hit it. Yeah, we've got some
We're
great
moving
posts.
through the show today. This has been one of those weeks while Austin's pulling us up. We got back from Blade Show last week.
Mm.
Everything slows down and gets a little crazy.
Yes.
So I like to do a lot of pre-production and getting these shows. This one was we told the people we're making a video every week. We're doing it.
We're showing up.
Yep, we're showing up.
Absolutely. So first one we got, this was for hashtag Show Your Knafs Day, which was an awesome little group participation thing that we did in the Moon Crew where people were showing off their Knafs collection. This is from Kylan, and he's got a good, better, best picture. He's got his lander one up top with what looks like 3D printed scales to me and a cool deep carry pocket clip. He's got a Yipper in the middle and a lander 2 at the bottom with some more cool 3D printed scales.
Kind of those Toyota scales. I forget who makes them on Etsy. But,
yes.
By the way, 3D printing notes.
Yeah.
I heard this week that Etsy kicked off a whole bunch of 3D printed sellers.
I did hear about this.
If it is not an original 3D print, something that you designed and print yourself, they kicked everybody off.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like it's pretty saturated, so I kind of understand it, but that's definitely a big blow to 3D printers, or at least small people selling on Etsy.
I wonder if the scales people, because there were 2 or 3 people printing scales and posting them on Etsy. I don't know.
Is this a meaningful modification to that's back to our USA made stuff?
I don't know.
I'm totally joking. Next up, we've got John E here. He spied a little Knafs gear in a Lockbee ad, which is super cool. So if you can see the photo on the screen here, there's a leather strop in there and an OG titanium ruler.
Yeah,
in there
which is
well.
fun.
That's super cool.
Super fun. I wonder to myself, did Lockbee make this, or was it an influencer?
Could have been an influencer.
I don't know.
It looks like Anthony Awaken's thumb, so that's.
Are you sure?
I know he's a Lockbee guy and that he's got a lot of Knafs stuff. So, last up here, go ahead.
AJ said, "I'm hoping Knafs makes a leather in-pocket sheath for the little Lulu at some point." AJ, we'll try to make all your hopes and dreams come true. We're doing some R&D on one right now.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. It will not be in Kickstarter, obviously, and we haven't tested it. Haven't gone the rounds on it. So, product development is funny because I had a boss at CRKT, Joel. Joel said once, by the time you release a product, you've been thinking about it for a year plus, 2 years, and you're tired of it.
Sure.
Before the public even sees it. Our problem is we sit here and leak little pieces and parts of new products, and people are like, "Hey, when's that slip joint coming out? That Knafs slip joint." I don't remember who the guy is. If we can find one of his comments and drop it on screen, that's cool. But if not, there's a guy who posts on every video we do. He's like, "When is the Knafs slip joint coming out?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, shouldn't have talked about that one. We're just not there yet.
I hear you. I like that thought process though, that you're already tired of it by the time you launch it.
100%.
There's a lot of truth to that.
We're a little bit in the future and the past right now. So we have a store party happening on Friday.
Yeah.
It will have passed by the time you watch this video. How tired of the store party are you, Austin?
I'm already tired of the store party.
And the store party hasn't even happened.
Has not happened yet.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
And it's not that you're dreading it or anything.
No, I'm really excited to see all the people, but they all kind of become the same at this point. It's like every store party, every Blade show is all just like this big event that you have to go to and work really hard to achieve what you want to achieve there. And it's just difficult.
They're good, but they're difficult.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great way to put it. Anyway, someday we will have a slip joint. Someday we will have another in-pocket leather sheath. But I don't know that bothering me in the comments is going to speed up the process.
Might go the other way, actually, guys. So be careful.
Fantastic.
Should we hit some mail?
Let's hit the mailbox.
Let's
What
hit
do we
the
got?
mail. Yeah.
This might be my favorite comment ever. This is from Twat Monroe. He says, Ben needs a bit more Lynn Thompson in his DNA.
Yeah.
What does that mean, Austin?
Well, I can't figure it out. Does that mean just simply more katana slices, or does it mean more macho energy? I'm not sure.
I don't know. I probably need more bacon slicing.
I think that's a minimum for sure.
Do you know, it's been interesting watching Cold Steel evolve over the years. You used to be able to get their proof DVDs. That was the first time I ever saw Lynn Thompson, was the proof DVD. It was sitting around Blade HQ, and I was like, I'll take this home and watch it. And I threw it in the DVD player, and I'm like, whoa.
Like, they're hardcore.
Because it was pre-YouTube that they released all that stuff.
Right.
I think they've actually toned that down just a hair. I think the acquisition had something to do with that. I also wonder to myself, can you slice like a whole pig on YouTube and not get flagged?
Yeah, like
in 2025,
age-gated or whatever that's called. Yeah,
Correct.
that's a great question.
Like, it seems like the world is a little bit less open compared to what you could do on a DVD.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Maybe I need more water buffalo hunts.
That could be cool too.
If you're unfamiliar with that video, search up Lynn Thompson water buffalo.
Yeah.
It's a remarkable video, but it's also like, I don't want to die at the horns of a water buffalo. No, thank you.
Buffalo, whatever that is.
Anyway.
Cool. Next up here, we've got EZK9026. Any update on the Kickstarter I funded for the screwdriver? I'm sure he's talking about the Bit Driver Grande. That was part of the Lander 5 Kickstarter. And that will release with all of the rest of the Kickstarter stuff.
Yep, they're ordered. They're probably going to arrive here in the next couple months. And we will ship them with the Lander 5.
That's right. So then they'll be publicly available after that.
Yep. This comes from Awshucks443. Love the username. It would be cool if you guys did a thing with Lynch Northwest. They're a Washington-based company that makes awesome pry bars, clip upgrades, and scale replacements. Funny enough, we've been doing stuff with Lynch Northwest for
at least, well, I think it was maybe last Blade Show Atlanta that they approached us.
So we've got Lander clips in titanium. We've actually done an exclusive Moon Crew clip that is super cool. It's got one of the cats on it. Was it Gary or was it
Gary?
It's Gary.
Yeah.
We've done that with them as well. So we love the guys at Lynch Northwest. Here's their packaging. Also, unqualified claim. Check this out. Designed, supplied, and made in the USA. Super unqualified.
Yeah, so you got 3 things in there.
If you're watching the show, that's an unqualified made in USA claim, which is cool. Anyway, this one is a sandblasted clip. You can get these for any of your Landers.
What's cool about these is they fit both the Lander 1 and the 2s and 3s as well. So
Solid.
Yeah, you can get one clip to fit all 3 of your knives, which is really cool.
So I have followed Lynch Clip for a long time, back to the days when they only made like Spyderco clips. So I was always honored when they got in touch with us and they're like, let's do something.
Totally.
It makes me happy. So if you are looking to upgrade, in fact, check this out. I like a deep carry clip. Lynch Northwest likes a deep carry.
Those are deep.
Yep.
They are way behind the line on that one. That's a deep shot for sure.
Cool.
Yeah,
so,
super cool.
If you like, what do these run, Austin? Like
those are around $35. Yeah, it depends on the finish that you get and stuff like that, but right around $35.
Also, can I just comment on this? Back in the day when they did the Spyderco clips, I always felt like the edges were a little bit rough. It was almost like they didn't tumble them long enough, or like just now these feel much more refined to me, which is cool.
Really cool what they're doing. I love
Casey and crew.
Yeah,
well done.
Especially Casey. Very cool. Kendrick Perkins, we know him.
KP.
For those not at Blade Show, excuse me, you can 3D print the little Lulu and still get to check it out. Love that call out. We do offer all of our Knafs knife products. We offer a 3D silhouette download, so you can download that, just throw it in your slicer if you already have a 3D printer, and go ahead and print one out. And it's true to size, accurate, all of that stuff. The blade profile might not be perfectly accurate, but overall dimensions are very close.
Yeah. It's an interesting idea we had a couple of years ago. Was like, let's throw the silhouettes of our knives on the site so that you can just get a feel for how they hold in the hand, if you like it or not.
I think especially with Kickstarter, right, where you're waiting a couple months until you're able to actually get it in hand, it's a good way. You could even do it in that first 30 days. We try to get them up really early so that you're like, if I'm not sold yet, I at least have an opportunity to get my hands on the rough outline of this thing.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Last comment today. I'm going to try this username. Kihiki1443. The Little Lulu is my favorite Knafs design. Can't wait till it gets off Kickstarter and for sale on Knafs. I don't do the Kickstarter thing anymore because I'm too impatient to wait after I order something, but definitely want to scoop one up after that. I love Kihiki's. I love their self-awareness because some people like sign up for Kickstarter and they're like, where is it?
Yeah.
Why isn't it here yet?
It's taking too long.
Kickstarter is a waiting game it's a pre-order on a product.
Yeah.
and it's being part of the story and the process. I think for some people, they're like, no, I don't want that.
Yeah.
That's why it exists, is to be part of the story and the process.
Or if you care about being, one of the first, this is a good way to achieve that as well. So
I think I'm going to cut this twat Monroe. Here, should we do this now so I don't forget?
Do it now.
With a Lander 5. I'm going to put this one on my desk just to remind myself that Ben needs a little more Lynn Thompson in his DNA.
Tell Lynn Thompson of you to just do it now. Just cut it now.
Just do it now. Just take it with me.
Yeah.
I'm doing it. Oh, man, that got kind of ugly, but I like the guy. Who is this not a famous actor or somebody?
I mean, it's definitely like an old school cool sort of photo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to hang this up to remind myself that I need this in my life. Lynn, thank you. You've inspired us all.
And you, Mr. Morano. All right. Last thing on the mailbox section here.
We teased this at the beginning. What do we got here, Austin?
These are from the good people over at Designer Grips and Scales. What they do is pretty interesting. We were just talking about 3D prints, actually. They take our 3D print scale files, they kind of modify them and to make them a little bit slimmer, and then they essentially wrap them in animal skins. So this one is, I believe it's cobra, right?
Cobra.
This is a cobra skin.
I feel like we need a sound effect whenever you say cobra.
Something like, or like an old western something. I can't picture it, but yeah, cobra skins. That one's, I think, blue elephant there.
Yeah.
But yeah, these are like super premium hide, leather, whatever you want to call it, wrapped around, a cool knife. So
how much do these run?
I don't know the exact price, but I know they're into the three figures, $110, $20, $30, somewhere in that range.
Cool.
Yeah.
Kind of spendy, but
a little spendy, but you're getting a handcrafted thing. You're getting a true product. Like these are actual, skins or hides. So you're getting the real deal on those.
Fun. We got to chat with these guys at Blade Show. Super nice folks, and they're doing something that I look at it and I'm like, I'm not an elephant skin maker.
Right.
Like, I never would have done this with my knife.
Right.
It's cool to see the iterations of what people have done with the products that we make.
Super unique, and I think there's an audience out there for pretty much everything, and it's cool that they're trying out to find their audience with that.
Yeah.
So
I love it.
Good on them.
This just makes me chuckle.
We need something to cut next time. We need like a real deal cut test or something.
Maybe the next episode of Knafs at Night is me just like cutting strips of bacon.
Yeah, we'll just take stuff from the ceiling in
and
here.
Just like
we just go crazy.
And then just like eat it raw.
I'll pass on that part, but I'll watch the bacon slicing.
Doesn't that seem like a Lynn Thompson? Like I know that would make you sick. I'm not that dumb. But,
totally.
But doesn't that seem like you cut a piece of steak off and just like
to drink the blood of your first kill sort of thing?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Think about it.
Yeah,
maybe next time.
Cool. Should we hit the last couple stories?
2 more
here?
Stories.
Let's do it. Patrick Patterson, you guys have probably heard. He's the mod over in our Facebook group. He's got a story for us here. 1 year for Christmas, I got my new nieces, around 5 and 8 at the time, my first Victorinox knives as a gift, an extra gift from me. I was still pretty new to the family, so this was one of their first gifts from just me. My wife thought I was nuts and that they would be completely uninterested. They opened all of the things we got that they had asked for, but then came the knives. Lakin, the younger of the two, opened hers up and did exactly what everyone had been afraid of. She closed the knife on her finger and cut herself. I sat there waiting in terror while she looked at the blood, expecting a scream, but none came. She popped it back open and went right back to cutting packages with it. The knives were their favorite gifts that year.
I love that.
Love that. Kids can be so unpredictable, and if they're really into something, can be totally distracted by that. So that's fun.
Speaking of unpredictable kids, at our last sidewalk sale, we have like these glass windows in front of our building.
Oh yes.
And then there are rocks in front of the windows, like little tiny rocks.
Indeed.
We had a couple kids just like chucking rocks at the window.
Very young kids.
Very
young kids.
And I was like, why? Why are you doing this?
What is this? I know. Don't you just love knives, actually? Like, there's knives over here. Come play with those.
Last story here. This is from Blake Meyer. The craziest thing that has happened to me since I started collecting knives was having 2 heavily sought after knives shipped to my address when I only bought 1. A twofer.
Oh, baby.
There was so much traffic at the time of the drop that everything crashed. I sat there and spam refreshed until the website came back online. Then I followed the sequence of button clicks I had been practicing all day and secured one. laughy face. Have you ever done that? Have you ever like waited for a drop?
I have. I can't think of what it would have been for, but I definitely have refreshed the page.
Did you practice the checkout sequence beforehand?
Not that
This
dedicated.
guy's extreme, and I love it.
Not that dedicated.
Got that relieving email with tracking and knew I was set. When the postal service showed up on delivery day, there were 2 boxes. It was obviously limited to 1 per transaction, and I checked my account to see that I'd only been charged for 1. I reached out to the maker, and he thankfully referred me to the admin of the Facebook group who's handling these sorts of things. He said he had no idea how that happened and paid for the shipping for me to send it back. He said that there would have been no way for them to know where the missing knife went, which is odd. Let's talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
I don't want to name drop the maker, but it was a surprising situation. Would have been a heck of a money-making deal if I was a dirtbag. Laughy face. Couldn't you just look at your orders and be like...
Yeah, or even...
Your shipping labels?
Shipping, yeah, that's what I was thinking, is you printed out 2 labels clearly, so there's probably some paper trail there. This has actually kind of happened to us before.
Yeah.
We ship a lot of knives during Kickstarters, guys, or a lot of product during Kickstarter, and even I think in the Lander 4 one, we swapped some stuff. We accidentally sent out some sheep foot when we wanted to send out the moon dust.
Yeah.
And we did a similar thing where we reached out to the person, we said, hey, if you keep this knife, we totally understand, but here's a prepaid label if you want to send it back, or you can purchase it from us. And people are so just genuine good people out there. So many people either sent it back or did purchase it just as a second knife, which was really, really cool.
I love that there are not a lot of dirtbags in the knife industry.
Yeah, in this industry. Yeah, we feel very lucky.
It's really, really good. Guys, thanks for hanging with us today. A little bit of a different episode. I'm going to be working on this next week. Just trying to get a little more Lynn Thompson in my DNA.
That's right.
Stay tuned for that. And we will have another episode coming out for you next week.
See you then.